nation's largest asset holder with nearly 900,000 properties, over 3 billion square feet, and over 40 million acres of land. But the fact is, many of those properties are underutilized, mismanaged, or even worse, sitting empty, costing the taxpayers billions of dollars. And you don't have to look very hard. In fact, we're just a few blocks from the U.S. Capitol, where this building behind me, owned by the GSA, has been sitting empty for over 5 years. Congressman John Mica of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee wants something done about it.
Congressman, where are we?
Well, we're in an empty federal building that's been vacant for 5 years, costing the taxpayer a lot of money. And as you can see, there's nobody here.
And in this particular building, you said empty for five years. Whose building is it? Why is it sitting empty? And how much is it costing taxpayers?
It's the people's building. It's under the control of GSA. And it's costing, again, not just this building, but across the country. We're losing probably $1 billion a year plus in assets that are sitting idle, like this property.
And what do you want done with this? Why don't they sell this building?
I did a little report, and we looked at some of the wasteful spending. And the title of the report is "The Federal Government Must Stop Sitting on Its Assets." And we're in one of the assets that we're sitting on. But if you look at this building, and then there are, believe this or not, 14,000 properties that across the country that the federal government controls that are either vacant or underutilized. That's a lot of big bucks.
The GSA told me that they manage in the National Capital Region area here 100 million square feet. In fairness to them, it's not, as you mentioned, it's difficult. It's not like they could just walk out front and put a for sale sign up. There's bureaucracy, there's a process.
Politics, people want to keep things as they are, and some people benefit by this and that. So there's the politics of it, too. That's why we set up working with Mr. Denham, who's my chair of the Government Building Subcommittee. We set up a BRAC-type commission, which is kind of like we've done with excess military property, or, again, as we change operations with the military, doing away with some of theirs, because the military can make decisions of what to do with the property.
So you're trying to help streamline the process?
Absolutely. You've got to do that. So it's twofold. There's some things we can do to get the bureaucrats to move, but also Congress may have to act to make everything move.
Now, this building, known as the Cotton Annex, 90,000 square feet. We're just a block from Independence Avenue and the National Mall. Prime real estate.
This is 90,000 square feet, but it's on one of the most valuable pieces of real estate in the United States. It goes almost to the mall in the nation's capital, and it's underutilized. It's been vacant for years.
And why isn't it being used?
Well, again, people making decisions. Sometimes Congress gets in the mix, but this is repeated over and over, and it has to stop. When we've got $17 trillion in deficit and we've got assets that are valuable sitting here, Congress has to take steps, GSA has to take steps, and the American people have to demand that these valuable assets be put to positive use and help us get rid of some of that debt.
And you mentioned the GSA. This is a GSA building, but it's not just the GSA.
Oh, no. We've got 900,000 square feet just a few blocks from here that was leased by the Securities and Exchange Commission with no tenants. Unbelievable. But this is the tip of the iceberg. We have a 400,000 square foot old post office with an annex next to it, in which we dragged the bureaucrats in when I became chairman. It was freezing outside, 38 degrees in. We held a hearing there. And that annex building has been vacant for 15 years. I know it's unbelievable, but it's true.
How big of a problem is this? I mean, what are we talking about?
It's really big. You know, people got upset with the guy in the hot tub in Las Vegas at that outrageous convention, but that's the tip of the iceberg. This is where the meat and potatoes, this is where the loss to the taxpayers are. Nobody in Washington has a business approach. Would you or any of your viewers turn their property over to the federal government to manage? I don't think so.
When we talk about the cost to the taxpayers, with buildings like this. What could actually be realistically recouped? Is it hundreds of millions?
Oh, billions. We're talking about billions. And this isn't just here. You can go to Miami, empty federal building. We're building a courthouse in Los Angeles, for which we've got another building with no tenants. We've got 30,000 square feet in a renovated building in my area down in Florida that, again, is underutilized. But across the country, you have properties. We're the biggest property owner and landlord in the world. The federal government is, and the people of America who own that. And their assets, unfortunately, are sitting idle.
Ask the GSA for a comment. They referred us to the Office of Management and Budget. Now, OMB claims they are taking steps to cut wasteful spending and get vacant and underutilized properties off their books. They say, in part, we have aggressively cut excess real estate costs by over $1.5 billion and are on track to exceed the president's directive to save $3 billion by the end of the year. Okay, that's OMB's comment. So my turn. What's taking so long, and how did it get so out of control? You heard the years that this congressman's talking about.